Hello and welcome to the Southbound Sports Show. I'm your host, Richie Leahy, here with my co-host, Matty B. Manly Matt. Let's make sure we have that down.
Right.
Should I say Matt Male?
Matt full chest hair.
Because we made some list of like the top 100 podcasts, and it was like the guy, whoever ran the site, reached out. I'm guessing it was a guy. I don't remember the email, but he was like, "Hey, just letting you know, here's your profile." And I was like, okay, I look at it and I sent it to Matt. I didn't even look at it too close. And then when I went back, it was like hosts, and probably because the pronoun stuff that's like everywhere, it was like Richie, male, Matt, or Maddie. They had you as Maddie, female. And I was like, female? Clearly the guy didn't listen to the whole show. Or if he did, maybe you need to talk with a gruffer voice. You should try that.
Yeah, because the bass that I use just isn't enough.
It's probably like the wing tee. He thought no man could be into the wing tee talking.
Only men are involved in the wing tee to run such an archaic system.
Yeah, so that was funny because I said, "There's no way." Like it must have just been. I probably can't pronounce words right. That's the issue, right? Doing a podcast, I need to have
it's that drawl.
Yeah, they need to have a real transcriber to help out, get names right.
That's a tip of the cap to you guys, our followers, for getting it out there so that we could be recognized in both sports in general and specifically college football. So very awesome.
I know. I was thinking we did talk about college football a good bit more lately. Like the show evolved over the years. Ben Roethlisberger retires. NFL kind of goes away because who wants to talk about Aaron Rodgers every week, right? Which reminds me, I did vote in the Green Bay Packers owner meeting because they said, like, if you don't vote every year, like if you miss a couple years or whatever, they're like, we'll take away your privilege. And I think I've been missing it because, like, you get the letter and it's like, oh, I'll do this later. And then, like, months later, I'm like, oh, too late? Dang. So I need to stay an active, involved member. Letting everybody know I'm still an active Green Bay Packers owner. I didn't get the hook because I was getting worried for a bit because I thought, oh man, I thought they usually sent that in May. And I thought I should really look that up. And then, of course, too lazy to even type in owners' votes. Did they get out yet? But then I got it today. And as soon as I got it, I thought, no, I'm voting because I don't know how many years I missed. I got to stay active. There's no anger, though. Like, when they sent me the Braves ownership when we were losing, I'm like, no, I'm voting immediately for no. I'm voting all these losers out, right? Which reminded me because I think someone had reached out and we talked about on the show about the Knicks ownership where you can own stock. But then I was confused because they had the parade and it was like focused on the mayor. And I thought, if I'm going to watch a parade on my team, the last thing I want to see is the mayor. He had absolutely zero to do with it. And so I thought, like, why would I want to be cheering for that? And I bring that up because I went to the Carolina Hurricanes parade. And I'm going to give you guys some tips here. Because everyone was telling me this is going to be a big deal, whatever. And I watched the news and they said, we can give you text messages to let you know. But parking is going to be free if you park in the downtown garages. And I signed up for the text messages and they said, be careful. We're thinking there's going to be up to 100,000 people. And then I thought, that's not even as many as a Michigan football game, right? Shoved into like a small Ann Arbor. Like I've ran a half marathon in Raleigh. I know that I can make my way around the whole city if I need to. And so I get in there and I thought, I'll show up a little bit early, right? Like an hour early. No traffic. None. I thought, all right, is this overblown? I get into the free parking, no issue. I didn't get any text messages about the parking. So I was telling people like, yo, if you're coming down, come down, bro. No issue. I get down there and I take my son and he's like, I said, what do you want to do? We can wait around for an hour. We can go like look for something to eat. And right by the stage, there was a Starbucks. So he said, let's just go hang out at Starbucks. So we stood in Starbucks in the air conditioning until the parade began because it started over on Western, which is over by like towards NC State. And I told him, I said, dude, they're not sprinting this parade. It's going to take a good bit for it to get to the end where the stage is. And so we waited. I said, we'll just hang out here. Like if we can't get like our drinks or whatever in time, we'll just bail. But then some guy stood up and was like, all right, everyone, parade is beginning. And I thought people were going to cheer. No. Everyone looked at the guy like he was crazy. And I'm like, surely everyone here in this establishment is here for the parade. Everyone's dressed in hurricane stings. They had a sign set up. It was like wooden letters for people to take photos. I watched 3 kids tip it over. I thought, what are the parents doing? Tell your kid, hey, I want you to go take a picture. Don't touch the sign. Whatever you're doing, don't touch the sign. Although I was a little annoyed because another guy mentioned it too that was standing beside me. The S for the Canes logo was clearly the NC State fat brick S. And all the other letters were like cut out really thin. And I was like, that S is clearly the NC State logo. They must have repurposed it. Like, oh, when people come into town to Starbucks, they can take a picture with like the NC State S, but we'll just put that on the Canes. What's one less letter we have to make, right? Instead of making 5, we can only make 4, and we'll repurpose the NC State. So that made me laugh. Before I go anymore, is there anything you want to add in this week?
I just kind of thought I've been on the maneuvers this week. Going on family vacation, gonna potentially here be losing cell service soon. But I was just impressed with the amount of coverage on the World Cup and going from Pennsylvania down to Florida. The amount of coverage that's just been everywhere has been pretty good. There's a lot of different venues and opportunities for all the games, and seems like there's a lot of support for it around the country from what I'm seeing. So it's impressive to see what they're doing with the coverage, because a lot of times with stuff like this, it comes in, I feel like we end up getting pissed off because it's like, that a lot of people are going to be tuning in and there's glitches and issues and all kinds of stuff. But I feel like it's being well organized, well broadcast, and not a lot of issues from what I'm seeing.
Well, our team, I think I talked about it last time. I liked our coach and the demeanor he had. And now it's the first time that the USA has won the first 2 games and clinched this early, like ever.
Yeah.
And that was without Pulisic, which I thought, is he faking? Like, surely he's going to play. And then they were like, no, he's
doing a Christian McCaffrey. He's waiting to make sure that they go far.
Is that his first name? Is it Christian Pulisic? Oh, I think we're starting to lose you.
So we make playoffs.
Well, see, he's from Hershey. So, or I guess it is Christian. Maybe it's the first name. If your name is Christian, you're going to get injured. So like any parent that's going to have an athletic kid, make sure you don't name them Christian, or they'll have these small nagging injuries and they'll never live to their full potential.
Just fake an injury.
Christian McCaffrey, Christian Pulisic. I don't know too many other Christians off the top of my head. So who knows? But yeah, they kept doing the thing from PA. They're like, this guy's from Pennsylvania. And they had a guy like talking about Hershey chocolate on one of the broadcasts I watched. And he was like, he's one of our own. We love him or something. And like, we know he loves Hershey chocolate too. I'm like, I'm sure he does. He's like in the booth right now, just chomping on some Hershey chocolate bars. Making some more. Some more what? Right here, making some Hershey s'mores, baby, from Pennsylvania. But yeah, I like how Telemundo has all the games. Because like I said, I've watched a lot of games on mute. And this goes to college football too, because you don't want to hear the announcers blabble. So what's the difference if it's in another language? Am I right? I'm not gonna.
It's funny you say that, because I was thinking that's like there's your free Spanish immersion. That's how I'm going to learn a foreign language. Start watching the ESPN Deportes.
Till you run into a Spanish speaker and you like start, and they're like, "Oh, do you know Spanish?" They start raffling things off. You're like, "I only know soccer adjacent language." So
and UFL, because the other day kids had friends over, and I was like just putting on background stuff while I was working. I was like, oh, I accidentally put on the Spanish broadcast of the UFL. I was like, oh, Sarah's like, my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, apparently I'm learning a foreign language and watching football.
Well, that could be your thing. You're like, oh, you don't like sports? Then I guess we can't chat. I only know sports terminology. Which is good, man. But yeah, I'm working on some other World Cup stuff, so I'm hoping I can bring some things in for the show next week. I know we're doing a shortened show this week. But going back to the parade, because that's the only thing I wanted to talk about. We get there, and I think, all right, I'm going to walk my way up. Which reminds me, because I think last week I was like joking about going to Harris Teeter, right? And it just shows you how some people, they get bad intel. Because the Carolina Hurricanes was at Teats, the Carolina Hurricane Bar, right? Which makes sense. Why would they be going to Harris Teeter? So it made me laugh. I know I was joking about going there last week, but I wanted to clarify that if people showed up at Harris Teeter and they're wondering why there was no hurricane merch, you went to the wrong place. Right. I don't know if
that's where they get their groceries.
I don't know if they went back there this week after they had the parade, but I go out there and everyone had brought chairs and they're sitting in front of the stage, which you had to pick. You either got a close spot by the stage or you went and watched the parade. You couldn't really do both. I mean, I guess you could, because I basically did both. And then I was like, yeah, too hot. My son's like, we got to get out of here. And I said, all right, that's fine. We can go watch the rest at a restaurant, which is what we did. Like, we were right there. So you could hear everyone yelling and watch it on TV, and there was like a couple of second delay. So it's like you could hear the jokes after everyone was like laughing or cheering. But I walked by, and Jimmy V's restaurant is right there. And it had a huge line. So I grabbed him. I said, dude, I don't think people know that these people aren't in line for the parade, because everyone's just stopped. I said, let's just walk down this line. These guys are all going to the restaurant. I guarantee it. We walked all the way down, and I was trying to cut up one more block because I looked on the social media and someone had did a drive-by, and the further away you got from the stage, the less people they were. But I didn't know. We kind of got lucky. When I looked at the map, I thought they were going the other way. We walked down to where they had the fence, and we were like 5 or 6 people behind, and they turned right in front of us. So we basically, because of people like waiting in line at Jimmy V's, shout out to that restaurant, we went ahead and had a perfect view. I just picked my son up, put him on my shoulder, and we watched the parade. And they had credit to the city, they had like a side-by-side or something. They had that set up for people that were handicapped. But then it got so crazy that kids were standing on top of it. And I thought, that can't be good. Like these little police, basically bigger golf carts, had a handicap people on side. And then they had kids standing on top because parents were just like, you can't see, I'm not going to hold you up. Too hot for that, son. You stand up on this handicap vehicle. I was like, that's a horrible decision. So then after the parade, we turned around and walked back, and we did the same thing. Like, you can just stand up on the one building and you could basically see the stage. But then it was so hot, and we'd already drank, and I brought water after like drinking like the Starbucks slushy thing that they have, or the frappe, whatever it was. And I said, if you're not feeling good, let's just go eat, and you can drink some more water and cool down. And then it was still going on after we ate. So then we went back out, and then we just kind of ended up bouncing. But it was a fun time. And I've been saying I've wanted to go to a championship parade. I wish I could have been able to make it to one of the Michigan ones. But a lot of people said, like, I wish I would have came. And if a free event like that, even if you just went up and parked closer to like NC State and walked over, I think you would have had no trouble seeing the parade, saw the cup, seeing everybody. I mentioned the mayor of New York. There were a couple people, like floats of people that were Carolina adjacent, that I was thinking, like, are these people associated with the team? Like, I don't know who's on all these floats. I wish they would have had names, or like said like, oh, athletic trainers, or stadium services or something, just so that we knew who they were. Because there were some where it's like, oh yeah, I recognize these people, but you see a float of like a truck and people like just throwing, like spraying water and stuff, and you're like, who are these guys? Like, that could have been me, right? Hey, I just messaged him like, hey, you need the parade to be longer? I got an idea. I'll just take super squirters or whatever, super soakers, what was this called? And we'll just spray people because that's what the one vehicle did. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know who you are or who these kids are, but
you missed your chance to be. Yeah, we're the champs. Start spraying people.
Well, it's like for the Knicks, that one player, the police stopped. Did you see that? He's like one of their backups, and they like he jumped. He wasn't on the float, but he had like his jersey on, and they were like, sir. And they were like, sorry, you look just like a regular fan, because he's like a 6-foot white guy. And they're like, you can't be in there. This is only for players. And he's like yelling at them, I'm on the team. Like, how embarrassing for that. Like, if you're doing security, the first thing I would do before I went there is looked at the roster. Like, Hurricanes, more players than what you probably like know. But like the Knicks have like what, 15 people max?
Hey, there you go. Just have a laminated sheet. Be first class. Be prepared.
Well, Harbaugh.
Hey, these are the guys that are on our team right now. These are the float approved people.
Harbaugh would have had that quarterback wristband on. He could have just looked it up, said, all right, you're good. Right? That's what you should do. You should write that out. We should have made it for him, send it out. Southbound Sports play calls brought to you by Connor Stallions Associates.
Brought to you by First or Last.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to chat about this week. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, that was the big.
All right, I think you're breaking up again anyway. Well,
we need to advance.
We have some World Cup stuff coming up. And now the other sports are basically over. We'll be getting into training camp coming up. And if there's anything else you want to say,
there was one last thing I needed to hit on. After we spent last week talking about Texas Tech and that Sorensen in his gambling stuff, he went like the following day declared for the supplemental draft. So I saw every NFL team send representatives to try to scout him.
Oh, did they?
Potentially, they did. And now, like, instead of playing for Texas Tech, he's going into the supplemental draft here coming up and is going to make the jump to the NFL after they approved him of doing whatever. And Texas Tech is paying for another quarterback. I believe it's Oregon's Raiola to come in to be their guy. So they clearly spent a bunch of money and they're like, yeah, after all your gambling, you can just go to the NFL. We're not paying you anymore.
Well, if Raiola went there, that's a pretty big deal for them. I think he's better. So that'd be quite a coup.
And they're just throwing the money. And the funny thing is, I look at Texas Tech now, and it's like, if you're going to spend that type of money, they could end up being one of those teams that makes the push into SEC Big Ten territory. Because if you're going to spend that type of money, and you're just going to go all in for your athletics, you're going to be a problem for those other leagues, because you're going to outspend them for players. And that's going to open that Texas market up for them a little bit more.
Well, that's what I had said before. If the Big Ten really wants, and Fox would be the driver behind it, if they want a Big Ten team in Texas, they could just go and say like, hey, A&M, do you want to come? Because if not, we're inviting Texas Tech. And
I wouldn't even go after A&M. Just go Tech, because they're already shown right now they'll spend a ridiculous amount of money, and you don't have to deal with any buyouts from the SEC. That, to me, that's a bigger thorn in their side, knowing damn well that at this point Tech's going to spend the money. Now you just rope them in when they're clearly showing that they have the proof of concept of being willing to spend on top market people.
Well, they still have the AAU problem for the Big Ten, because we haven't seen any teams get in without that. I think that could be the holdup with Florida State. Now both Florida State and Texas Tech both have plans to try to get AAU membership, but I don't know how long that takes. Right?
Yeah, and from what I've heard, Florida State's expanding their medical department to try to get, like, all the pieces are aligning for them to be AAU accredited. And I think what you got to watch is for teams like Texas Tech, Florida State, any of the ACC schools that have been linked to jump into the Big Ten, you have to look at the programs like Nebraska that are potentially going to fall out of AAU. If they do that, are they going to kick them out for not having that?
I think Nebraska's already out of the AAU. They haven't been kicked out of the Big Ten, of course. But
I mean, if they're saying that's a sticking point of getting in, and now you don't have it anymore, that could potentially be grounds of them to say, hey, go somewhere else.
Which I know a lot of Big Ten fans hate Nebraska because they didn't hold up their end of the deal. They're like, you're supposed to be good at football. Now we have Indiana stepping up, so it might not really matter. A red school winning national championship, basically taking over for Nebraska.
Holding down the Midwest and sticking it to Notre Dame.
Yeah, perfect. Just what we want. But yeah, is there anything else you want to hit on before we wrap up?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.